So hello everyone, my name is Paul and I'm a Reformed Nerd and I am back to Twitch. It's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks since I've actually been up and played anything because I was crisscrossing South America. In fact, when I was in South America, it was my intent to actually play this game because I picked up the Over the Andes DLC for Railway Empire with the expectation that I was going to play it when I was in South America. However, oh, hey, Big Red. However, I ran into a little bit of a problem because none of the hotels I was in had strong enough internet with good enough connection speeds to actually be able to play a damn thing. So as such, I bought this DLC and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I figured I'd pick it up and play a bit of a stream tonight with the South American DLC. The wealth of Argentina has been massively increased over the last years, and people from all over the world come to find their fortunes. In order to not stand in the way of progress, the country has opened up a further and further foreign investors in the past. So it comes as no surprise that even the railroads are in the grasp of European investors. Well, that's pretty true. When I was in Buenos Aires the other day, actually this morning, I ran into so many people who actually had multiple citizenships with Germany and France and Italy and all of those sorts of things. So I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, wait, I have just... You can't switch? Oh, that's interesting. So with the scenarios, you actually are stuck with the individual person. And I get the one that has her feet tied up in a plastic bag. Looks like she's about ready to be thrown into the East River. So that's fantastic. Let's see. 15% income from passengers and mail. Repairs are 10% slower. That's not good. Express trains will receive a double bonus for ticket revenues and 20% less income from freight. Interesting. So, Big Red. Oh yeah, haha. I was still on Discord and didn't realize the stream started and I got startled. And I love South America. The only been to parts of Brazil and some parts of Argentina. Well, yeah, I spent a little bit of time in Buenos Aires myself. Have you ever tried Havana Follos? I think it was called. Apparently, it's this like really famous chocolate. Or snack or something of that sort, because literally like everyone was asking me to bring it home. So yeah. Oh cool, Lima's here. Yeah, I started off in Lima for my trip and then I went to Quito. It doesn't look like Quito is on here. Yeah, it doesn't go far enough north for Quito. That's the Ecuadorian capital. Then I flew down to Santiago. Let's see if Santiago's here. Yep, Santiago. Then out to Buenos Aires, which is, I just saw, it's my home city. Where is it? And Buenos Aires, here we are. Fantastic. Alright, so I am playing the scenario. This is actually the first time I sat down to play a scenario in this game. Connect 7 cities, transport 1,000 passengers to keep the value of 2 million, achieve a quarterly revenue of 25,000. Those actually don't seem that difficult, to be honest. So fair enough. And of course, to get started, you always need to... Whoa! I don't know what all of those lines mean. Apparently I can only build in Argentina. Because if you cross over this way, I think this is Uruguay, if I remember correctly. No, never heard of it. The only food I really love from there is their empanadas and dulce de leche sweets. Oh, well, you may have tried it. The Havanas actually are dulce de leche, I think. But it's inside of a cookie, like a vanilla or a chocolate cookie with dolce cream in the middle. I haven't had one yet, but I bought like 3 boxes at duty free. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just go and invest in a large train station for Buenos Aires right from the start. And I'm going to try to get a north-south orientation on this thing, just because obviously there is not much to build on in the east. Alright, and they've changed up the resources here for the South American DLC. So let me just take a quick look at Buenos Aires and see what their needs are for the moment. As soon as I remember where that's located. Alright, so they need fish, corn, wood, meat, and chicha. Whatever the hell chicha is. I don't know what chicha is. Okay, so this is Stark Farm, which produces cocoa. Alright. But it looks like this is going to be my nearest fish. Yeah, it's going to be way too far apart for me to actually be able to manage one for the both of them, unfortunately. So we'll just go with a nice small train station for the fish. And let's go ahead and just get that lined up here as a good little starting pot. But need to make sure we get it in a good slot so we can get over the bridge with limited amount of investment, because those bridges can be quite expensive. So I'll go ahead and get this fish brought into Buenos Aires. Oh, that's the one train I got to choose from. Perfect. There we go. Let's go ahead and get time started. Let's see. I might have tried it. I did visit Argentina twice on my trips to Brazil, but mostly my family members who live near Brazil who visit Argentina and bring back stuff. Well, if it's good, I'll let you know. I don't think Buenos Aires needs sugars yet. Does it? Oh, wrong thing again. Sorry, I haven't played this game in well over a month, and I'm getting a little bit confused where everything's located. There we go. And you produce chicha alcohol, I'm assuming that is. And Bahia makes steak. So I think this sounds like it's going to be the easiest thing to go into my network, especially since wood is down here anyway. I'll be... Oh, but there's actually closer wood here. Oh, okay. So we got a few options, and then there's actually... Ooh, there's a steak city right here, actually. So that's probably going to be the best one to go for. So... maybe I'll go ahead and make that a medium train station. Just because it's so close, I imagine I'll be running quite a few things in between here. So I'll go ahead and get this looked up to the northern one. And apologies, this is probably going to be a little bit more of a laid-back stream because, like I said, it's the first time I've picked this up in about 2 weeks. So, I'm definitely going to need to get the rust off a little bit. So since I was planning on a laid-back stream anyway, this one frankly seemed a perfect option for it, because nothing is more chill and laid back than Railway Empire. No, looks like that I'd have to go for a very large train station at that point. It doesn't really get to be profitable to try to save on investment for that. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get that connected. And I picked the outer track for this one. same time, I would probably go ahead and get this one connected as well. So I'll edit the line of the current train. And in Rosario, I'll have it dedicated to track 1, actually. And that way I can keep this train moving reasonably well on the first track, or the second track, I should say. There we go, got the new train running, perfect. Sorry, got my little wrong line here. I actually visited Brazil in 2018 in December and took a flight to LA to Miami and then Brazil, and let me tell you, I'm never going to go to Miami hotels or airports again. Their service is horrible. That's true, I've actually had some bad experiences in Miami myself. I did buy a huge bottle of whiskey on my way back from Brazil, though. I have to wash down the stress from travel somehow. And that is usually not a bad idea in the least. Although today I decided to go on ahead and not open up any beverages for the current stream, which is a little bit unlike me, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, perfect. I can get both of them into this one, and this is probably going to be servicing multiple connections because it has both wood and corn, which are some of those base materials that are necessary for all of the cities to grow. Except now I have no more money to actually build the freaking line. That's unfortunate. Not a problem. I think this cattle line itself should bring in the money reasonably quick, to be honest. Oh, I forgot supply towers. Yeah, it's been a while since I played this, so I'm probably going to forget quite a few things. Oh, actually, that reminds me as well, I need to build maintenance towers before I forget about those. I'd rather not have them in Buenos Aires, because I do have a feeling that's probably going to get a bit on the busy side. So I'll go ahead and put one up in Rosario. And as soon as I get enough money, I'll go ahead and put one down at this fish station as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit, because in the beginning of this game, it is a little bit on the slow side. And since I'm waiting for money to come in, let's go on ahead and pop down for a nice little ride along. Oh, press the wrong button. I do like the ride alongs. It is quite pretty to see the landscape, even if it is reasonably low res. As we come to Buenos Aires here. I wonder if that's a proper flag. Let's see a little bit closer if that's actually going to be the Argentinian flag here. Oh, wasn't able to see it. Well, let's pop out and see if I just can zoom in a little bit. Is that? Well, that's a current Argentinian flag. I don't know if that's a 1910 Argentinian flag. But still, I'll take that as a nice little bonus. And I do have enough money now to go ahead and build that next maintenance shed over here at the fishing port. And now I'm completely out of money, so let's go ahead and just wait for the trains to do their thing. mail by 10%, which isn't too bad, but frankly I don't think there's a lot of mail to be had at the current moment. Am I on pause? No, I don't think so, but I did notice that this got popped down to 1, so I'll put that back up to 2. It's slow due to missing equipment? Didn't I build a supply shed around here? I'm certain I built one. But no, it doesn't seem like I did. Well, go figure. And I can't even afford one at the moment, so let's just go ahead and wait for that to come through. Oh, and it gave me literally no tech to unlock from the previous eras. Okay, well that's interesting. So you actually have to re-get tech from the previous era, despite the fact that, alright, well whatever. Like I said, this is the first time I've played scenarios, so I'm not quite sure on the specifics of the scenario rules. I still remember our flight had a mechanical issue, and it was like 10 p.m. or so, and they got me on a flight at 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, sleeping on airport chairs aren't the best first world problems for you. Well, my first plane ride was from Pittsburgh to JFK in New York. And I was flying to the Czech Republic to visit a school that I was planning on sorry, I'm moving my microphone in case you hear something weird. Visiting the school that I was planning on applying for study abroad at. And Pittsburgh was delayed, and I got to JFK maybe like 20 minutes after. Train engineer prevents catastrophe. Passenger loco hits freight train. Tuesday night, a local freight train blocked the main line as passenger train number 1 raced in at high speed. Train engineer Casey Jones heroically gave his life as he tried to the bitter end to slow down his locomotive. This prevented any casualties among the passengers, and Jones is the only victim we mourn. Oh, that's sad. I wonder if that's a historical event or not. But, yeah, so I got to JFK like 30 minutes after my plane to the Czech Republic had left. And it was one of those flights that only ran once every 24 hours. So I was actually stuck in JFK for 24 hours with nothing to do. So in the end, what I decided to do was to buy the movie The Terminal. 13,000. Ooh, that's pretty cheap. But I don't have a lot of money. So let's see if that's going to be enough. Beatrix. Aren't I Beatrix? Okay, yes, I am Beatrix. Great. So, what did I unlock? Okay, mixed route train. A little bit faster with a little bit less power. Well, okay, that's not bad at all, to be honest. But yeah, I had already seen the movie The Terminal. But I figured, hey, if that guy could spend like 6 years or whatever it was in the terminal, I can manage 24 hours. So I bought that, and since it was the only movie I had with me, I just watched it like 3 times. But yeah, that's probably my worst travel story. But for as much traveling as I do, that being my worst one isn't all that bad. Wow. This is a very expensive line to build for some reason. I don't know why. Well, but I do need to get that hooked up to my system here reasonably quick, because that's all of the good stuff. And I do have 200 in tech here, so reduces the cost for train personnel by 20. Well, that's nice, but nothing really too urgent in that sense. And that's a slightly better freight car, which is, again, fine, but not necessarily urgent. And all of these are at least 300, so there's not much I can do with that for now. So, okay, we'll just come back to that later. But Buenos Aires was fun. It's definitely a pretty city, and it looks absolutely nothing like it is. Oh, I guess that building looks a little bit like a couple of the ones I saw down in the square. But yeah, this game does not necessarily go for realism in terms of the architecture. But I never made it up to Rosero here, so I have no idea what that one's supposed to look like. Random breakdown, lovely. Yeah, let me zoom in here and see if they have like the Uruguayan flag flying. Well, it doesn't have any stations, so I guess they don't have the flags flying just yet. But apparently they have a cool ferry that actually goes from Buenos Aires to Uruguay. But I didn't have the time to go on it, sadly. And I don't get pissed that easily, but the airport staff had no idea what they were doing, and they said that we had to go to some customer service crap, and let's say the rest of the passengers didn't talk very politely to the staff. Yeah, I definitely feel sorry for the staff in those kind of situations. No one's having a good day on days like that. Okay, so I can get the track a little bit closer, but I have a feeling that this is going to take a little bit too long if I go in this method. So I think I'm going to just try to save up and go right across that and hook it into the cattle train as soon as I have another 10 or 14,000, it looks like. And then I can make the track a little bit more efficient later on once I have enough money to connect it directly to Buenos Aires. But I think that's probably going to be the best way about it. But I see what they do to make the scenarios a little bit more difficult. It looks like they start you with a bit less money on the capital side of things. 10% in freight, 20% in less in maintenance. Alright. Accountant detects inconsistencies in bids for no locomotives and therefore reduces purchase prices by 10. Ooh. Reduces purchase price for each locomotive by 10? If so, that might be worth it for 625. Yeah, because early on, I mean, I'm going to be buying a lot of trains. Professor, which increases innovation points. Again, that seems like it's pretty worth. And have to give up. Oh, you immediately receive, but you pay 100. Well, okay, so what does he do? He just gives me one-off money? I don't know. Alright, well, fine. I'll ignore those guys for now. But yeah, I hope you had a nice trip to Argentina. Learned any words? None at all! My Spanish is horrible, and I make no attempts to actually improve it. A lot of the people I was talking to were a little flummoxed by how little Spanish I knew. But that's why Google Translator is such a nice thing. Because I literally lived on that thing. But I did travel with a few other individuals, and that definitely helped. When I got the line set up, I don't have enough money for a freaking locomotive. Money's starting to come in a little bit here, so hopefully I'll be able to pick up that locomotive here pretty shortly. And let's see, Buenos Aires is... Wow, this connection is not doing that well, to be honest. Doesn't even have enough need to fill up with the meat or passengers or mail. So keeping that on automatic definitely seems like it would be the best idea. And yeah, hopefully they're bringing in full loads of fish and meat. Yeah, at least meat is coming in at a full load. Let's see what the fish is doing. But yeah, with that less income from freight, That's going to definitely get me a little bit more dependent on train personnel, transportation fee for rate by 8%. That could be worth it because I do have that negative impact of freight because of my woman conductor person. Random breakdown. Okay. Gotta love the random breakdowns. But fortunately it's off on a different area, so... Oh wow, this is growing fast. So now it needs a lot more than it originally did. Oh boy, that's gonna be difficult. All right. Well, I do have enough to buy that train, though. Okay, where are my lines? Where are my lines? How do I see my train lines? Train list. Alright, so this is an empty trail line, and this is Wright Estate. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to buy a locomotive for. Alright, and it's going to be freight only, so I'm just going ahead with the original Kitston Meyer. And you're being loaded up with only corn. Well, okay, that's fine, but I would rather you take a little bit of both, to be honest. That would help out with the growth a little bit more. Waiting for Norris, Cattle, and Rosario. Yeah, that's true. I don't have literally any signaling up here at the moment. So, go ahead and get one stop here and one stop here. That way they can avoid running into each other, but... Oh, wait. No, with how I have it set up, there's going to be literally no way to get around him. Well, that's a bit on the poor planning stage, but like I said, I haven't played this in a long time. That is going to be my excuse. Okay, so I definitely want them both to be able to hit that. For the supply tower. So, with that put up, I'll go ahead and make this one way in that direction, and this one way in this direction. That way they should be able to pass each other, so until I can actually afford to make parallel tracks, that should work for now. I got one train complaining about missing equipment, but it's getting supplied right now, so there we go. Loving the background music, though. Yeah, this game does have a pretty nice little chill soundtrack, and like I said, for the day I've had, I'm up for a little bit of a chill soundtrack, an easy game, because, yeah. I landed about 5 o'clock in the morning here in Atlanta after, what was that, about a 9-hour flight, and I got very little sleep on the plane. And once I did get into the area, it was about an hour to get through immigration and customs, then another hour to get home. And at that point, I got to see my wife and kid for about 10 minutes before they ran off to work in daycare. And then they were gone, and I slept for probably a solid 6-7 hours. I woke up with just enough time to do my laundry and call it a morning at that point. But yeah, I'm a little bit low energy today, so apologies in advance. being a reformer PC player, I guess you could call me, the Steam library was so large I had a hard time looking for games. There were Sim Bay games to try, not enough money. I decided on Civ and Cuphead, a 1930 style game. Yeah, Cuphead, that thing's oh, task is about connect 7 cities by 1900. Oh crap. Wow. I've got 2. And there's no way I'm going to be able to get in. Oh, wow. I completely neglected my... Oh. I didn't realize it was that quick of a... Oh. Well, how are you going to do that with as much money as they give you? They really don't give you a lot of money. Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is more difficult than I expected it to be. Okay. So... I probably could get this one connected, but each train, even a small train station, is 40,000, plus the tracks to get it connected. Yeah, I don't have enough money. I only have... wow. Alright, yeah, I think I'm going to be failing that mission. You could have given me more than like a month or 2-month warning that this was going to be expiring. Holy heck. In 1901, okay, well, I'm almost got 1,000 passengers over the 2 cities that got connected already. And I'm nearly at 2 million. Yeah, okay, so I already got that task completed there for 1901. And 1903, okay. Yikes. Alright, so I definitely neglected that. And just this far is 32,000. Wow, you really need to be efficient on that. Darn. Steam, not Stream. So many, not Simbay. Okay, yeah, so many makes more sense, yes. I was thinking, like, what is a Bay Sim? What the hell is going on here? Okay, so he's waiting at the stop, which is perfectly acceptable. Yes, I know a task is about to expire. Thank you for the 1-month warning. Gee. Come on. So I don't know, if I fail this, does that end the scenario or not? So this should be a decent amount of money for Zero. Let's see, how much am I getting for the freight with the penalty that this woman gets? 13,000, and that was enough to get Rosario to grow right away. But I don't even think with the 13,000 that it's going to be enough to get this connection built. Well, looks like it would be just enough. But not enough for the other way. Okay, well, good enough. But now I don't have enough money to buy the train either, so yeah, this is definitely going to be painful. It must have sucked living in the early 1920s and 30s through the alcohol prohibition. Don't know what the government was planning with that one. Well, you know, it's a traditional nanny state incentive. But yeah, that definitely ended up being a little bit of a failed experiment now, didn't it? The only one who won with Prohibition was the organized criminals, like Capone and all. So yeah, I've got 3 cities connected now, and I only missed the bonus by 4. So yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen at the end of the year here. Like, do I automatically fail the mission? 31 and over. Scenario failed. Yep, you do. Wow, that's aggressive. Restart the scenario. Yes, sure. Let's go ahead and restart it. I've got probably another 45 minutes, an hour here for the stream, and let's see. Same tasks. Connect 7 cities, 1,000 passengers, company value. Perfect. All right. So I guess growing the cities is not my main objective. I'm really just going to have to focus on getting down cheap stations that I can upgrade later once I am focusing on getting freight into those cities. But I need to make the money last much longer than I originally was planning for it to last. Alright, so we're going ahead, nice cheap connection between the 2 cities, very nice. And cheap locomotive, very good. Let's get that running right now. And since I've got the leftover money, I'm just going to go ahead and set up another one right here for Cordoba. Yeah, I think Cordoba. Like I said, I don't have any knowledge of Spanish. I know hola, hasta la vista, and donde es la biblioteca, and that's about it. Go ahead and put a couple of supply towers down, very good. And I'm going to go ahead and pay to put in a maintenance shed here. And that should be good enough. And we'll set up a new line with Rosero kind of being the linchpin of my system. And just for the 2 lines not to interfere with each other, go ahead and put down a couple of stop signs right before we get into the main city. Alright, so already I am as close to completing the scenario as I was after 30 minutes or so of the last attempt. Okay, there we go. Being loaded, and there's like nothing here because it's a meat city to a meat city, which frankly is more than pointless to even have in the first place. But whatever. The mission wants me to focus on passengers, so passengers is what I will focus on. Okay, let me see. What next city would be worth it? Can I build in Uruguay? So no, it's still not even going to let me build in Uruguay. And I don't know when Uruguay turns into Brazil. So I think it's just this area is Uruguay. And I'm guessing as soon as you cross into this section, it's Brazil. Because, yeah, here's Sao Paulo here. And Rio de Janeiro. So Brazil starts somewhere around there at the minimum. So I need to get 7 just between the cities in Argentina. Bahia Blanca. I wonder what Bahia means. If you know better Spanish than I do, Big Red, you know, feel free to educate me on some of these cities' names. I know Blanca, I think, is probably white. I'm assuming at minimum. Okay, and going ahead and get that connected just so I can add one more city towards the objective. And plop down a supply tower, no reason not to. And a signal right before we get into Buenos Aires. There we go. Get that line functioning as soon as we can, and let's go ahead and have a nice little ride along with our new connection. I think that sounds like a lovely idea as it loads up with some meat. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button. There we go. Ah, no. I instinctively want to press on the right mouse button for the ride along to move the camera, but that's not how this game functions. You have to hold down the middle mouse button. Anyone who watched the Terminator movies can in fact say hasta la vista. Indeed, that's where I learned it as well, and it's sad that I learned 1/3 of my Spanish from an Austrian, but Bahia is a state in Brazil, if I remember correctly, so it's probably just the name Bahia with white tag next to it. Yeah, that works. Oh, and I missed one. Haha, and I see some people playing flight or train similars professionally, and I see this gameplay definitely way more boiled down and simple. Yeah, it's definitely simple. I mean, getting the track designs the way you like it can be its own layer of complexity once you're kind of into the late game stuff. But yeah, starting off, yeah, it's pretty basic, which is exactly why I'm playing it on a day like today, when frankly it'd probably be a wiser choice for me to be sleeping than anything else. But but yeah, I definitely felt like I need to get into the swing of things again. I had been away from Twitch a little bit longer than I'd like, and I saw my YouTube pop down to like 40-50 minutes a day of watch time. But I guess that's what happens when you don't post anything for like 2 weeks. But yeah, tomorrow I'm definitely going to be back up with my Shogun playthrough, so in the morning I'll post my Shogun 3 video, and work on Shogun 4 in the evening, because I do miss that game. I am eager to have that soundtrack again. Well, you know, this ride along is much less fun when you're basically surrounded by earthworks. The only thing you're looking at the whole time is just the hill on both sides of the track. So I hope this won't be much of a passenger line, because they're not going to have much to look at. Alright, well, I've had enough of that. Alright, so I got 4 cities now, right? Yes, and I need 3 more cities before the end of next year. But at least this one is close. So maybe I'll just go on ahead and try to get another small station connected here. Just since that would be the easiest of the next bunch of cities for me to focus on. Okay, got that down to 0%. 52, 54, 49,000 for the bridge, 48. Yeah, 48 is probably the best I'm going to be able to do it. And yeah, then I'm just out of money before I can actually get that damn thing connected, unfortunately. Why is that? Oh, because it's building a bridge again. Well, I think if I can avoid the bridge, I should be able to find a way to get that connected. Okay, yes, no bridge. No bridge. Yes, that works. And that does not leave me enough money left over to buy the train, but at least I got that city connected. Does that count even without the train? It does. So apparently trains are optional. As long as it's connected, we'll be good to go. Oh damn, my bad. I forgot about the YouTube channel. It's been a while. Gotta check back on it. Oh, to be honest, Big Red, yeah, you don't need to, because I haven't had time to actually edit down my videos. So the only thing I'm posting right now is basically the full stream replays of what I do here on Twitch anyway. So once I have my entire back catalog posted, my plan is to basically have the Twitch channel, and then I'll edit down my Twitch videos into more manageable bite-sized chunks, I suppose you could say, and then post those over to YouTube. But yeah, since you're actually watching on Twitch, there's very little need to for you to take a look at the YouTube itself. 42,000. All right, so as soon as that next train is here, there we go, 42. So just like in real life, I blow through my money the minute it's available to me. There we go. So do you know what this there we go, yes. Chicha. Yeah, do you have any idea what this chicha is, Big Red? From the looks of it, I'm assuming it's either a spice or some local alcohol, but yeah, I've got no idea what this stuff is. Someone's missing equipment. But I'm pretty sure he has a supply tower. Yeah, it's just down here. So maybe it's just a little bit too long of a run for them to be able to manage the supplies themselves. Which is a little bit of a problem. I'd really prefer not to having to spend to get another one down there. And it looks like there's literally no other stations. Yeah, it's not going to let me build in Chile either. Okay, so Santiago... Oh, no, that's not Concepcion. That's Coquimbo. Oh, the Concepcion doesn't even get its own city. Well, that's a shame. I've been to Concepcion once. And yeah, we got Peru up here. So I'm really pretty much restricted to just the Argentinian cities. So I'm assuming that I'm going to have... There's probably 7 Argentinian cities total. And I need to get them all connected before it's going to let me do anything else. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where are the other 2? Tucumán, I think that's Chile, Argentina. Yeah, so Tucumán and Salta are the last 2 cities I need to get connected. Oh, and there's one here, Corrientes. So there's a spare 3rd city as well. Okay, fair enough. That may start to make sense. Yeah, I know you're not going for the big game on YouTube or Twitch, but if you do get a lot of people watching, they might want to watch smaller clips instead of a long stream on YouTube. I'm not a master editor, but I can help you if you ever need it. Fame, game, not game, game. For the fame game. Ah, okay, I got that. And no, my amount of knowledge does not recall anything about the name. Like I've said, minimal knowledge of Argentina, but it's something. Well, minimal knowledge is better than I, because beyond my random trips to Colombia every year, and oh, this doesn't go up to Colombia, does it? You know, this game seems a little bit incorrectly named, to be honest. Because, I mean, the Andean community is the 4 countries or up here, or 5 countries maybe. You got Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia is the Andean community. And the Andes are just on the southern reach here. It splits Chile off from the rest of the continent. So really, if you're going to be having a DLC called Crossing the Andes, I think if anything, you should include the Andean community, because literally you've got a little bit of Peru right here, and that's it. So you only have 1/5 of the Andean community in your Crossing the Andes DLC. That's what you get when you let Germans build a South American game, I suppose. But let's go ahead and get Tucumán set up, because I'm already about 1/3 of the way through the time limit on that mission. And now I need to get that down to Coriba. Let's see how much that's going to cost. Okay. So 47,000 plus bridge or tunnel, and I don't even have enough for the tracks, which are 121,000. Okay, well, guessing I'm probably gonna try to slip it through here. Yeah, I think that's the way about it. So yeah, I'll bring this track down, slip it in right behind the lake here, and we'll be good to go on that one as soon as I get a little bit more money coming in. Big Red, you a Game of Thrones fan, by the way? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, yeah, so train engineer and prevent catastrophe, we already read that one. And what train doesn't have equipment? Is it the southern one again? Yes, this one. This one does not have a supply tower, doesn't it? In bad condition breakdown as well, because yeah, there's also no... Ah, darn. I completely neglected my southern one here. Exports. When selling used locomotive, depreciation is reduced by 40. Yeah, that's worth it. And I do have a little bit of money here. Enough to finish that connection up north, it looks like, as long as these improvements down in the south don't cost too much. So let's go ahead and put a construction building on Bahia. And a supply tower as well. Just put on the other side of that river. Just so you can get filled up here pretty darn quickly. Oh, I heard the whole deal about the final season. I watched the first season, but sadly I don't have HBO anymore. Oh. Yeah, that's... oh yeah, better locomotive is in... Yes, okay. So they're yelling at me that there's faster trains and they should be upgraded, which is very selfless of them. Okay, so we're getting a mix of stuff. Passengers and everything is finding their way to their appropriate destinations, which is fantastic. But let's go ahead and see if we can maybe... work on the tracks here a little bit. So I want to keep it as close to a 0% as I can. At least this area looks like it's reasonably flat. Perfect. So the next little bit of money I get, I should be able to get that connected reasonably quickly. And then that means I'll have about 1.5 years to get the last two taken care of, which is lovely. So this is a mixed use, which frankly I should be buying anyway, because all of my trains are going to be pretty much mixed use, because I don't really have enough money here to get that going. Oh, and I completely forgot to address your offer. Hey, I may very well take you up on that someday, but in regards to the editing, that is. Um, I'm not much of an editor either, but yeah, basically, my goal is to start doing that more healthy, chunk-sized editing stuff, but at the moment, Twitch is kind of my main focus, so getting the streams going is kind of my priority, because I need a little bit of practice on regards to my narration and all of that sort of stuff, so that once I start editing my videos, I actually have something good in the end. Because no amount of editing is going to make up for those issues after all. There we go, perfect. So let's see, which city would be most worth connecting up here? So that's a Chachia town, and both of these are steak towns. So really, either of them would be fine, but I think there is already an export market. Yeah, Buenos Aires is a Chichia town, so there is an outlet for the steak in Rosario. So getting the train to focus on Cordoba would probably be smarter. That way there's actually a place for them to send their steak. So let's go ahead and get that going. And that will be a mixed use train. That will be most appropriate. Alright, there we go. We got another city into the network with, I believe, 2 more to go for the tasks. 1 more! Hey, only 1 more. And I've already transported 1,000 passengers, so that's fantastic. And I'm quickly approaching the 2 million revenue. And then the only thing I have to do is focus on the number of passengers, which I'm really already pretty close to anyway. So frankly, this is not necessarily that hard of a scenario once you actually pay attention and prioritize what they want you to prioritize. So that's Chachia and Chachia. And is this the last one? No, that's this one. This one is Meat. So Meat and Chachia would probably be the best ones to go ahead and hook up with. But this one's definitely going to be a little bit more expensive because there's 2 rivers to cross rather than just the one. Unless I bring it down this way and hook it up to Rosario. So that's steak and steak. Well, no, I think this connection would be a little bit better, to be honest. Even though it's 2 rivers, at least they are producing different goods. So let's see. But I should probably do the supply tower first before I forget about that. And a small train station over here in Corrientes. There we are. Missing equipment. Yes, this is the one I literally just put down the supply tower on, so that should be good here in a second. Alright, 18,000 looks like the best. Ooh, 17. Alright. That's not that expensive for a bridge, to be all honest. But plowing through all of these trees won't be cheap. Alright, so that's halfway there. And basically, as soon as I get a little bit more money in, I'll be able to connect that up and we'll be good for that goal. So I'm very good about that. And what tech should I be able to get now? Personnel, I'm not really too concerned with, because I should be able to do that without too much need for personnel. And there's literally nothing else that's cheaper than for 200 points. So I'll come back and worry about that later. An electronic interlocker tower increases transportation fee for freight cars. Well, why does it say starting bid is 7,000? Every time I put down a bid, it's like 10,000 more than that. I mean, am I literally coming in and offering 10,000 more than the minimum just because I'm that gracious of an owner? Like, I don't really get that, because that's like every time it's done that. So that's going to be just up to the edge of the river, and then I'll be able to ford a bridge as soon as I get that going. Oh, I heard about the deal with the final season. I watched the first season, but sadly I don't have HBO anymore. Well, you know, pretty soon I'm sure they'll be coming out with those massive box sets of all 8 seasons. And frankly, if you like the first season, it probably would be worth it, because I got on to Game of Thrones kind of late. I probably picked up on Game of Thrones season, probably about 4. It was like right after the whole Red Wedding deal. Everyone was talking about that, and I was like, all right, okay. So I've heard about this for too long. Scenario failed? Oh, come on. Well, that's disappointing. Oh well. Let's see. Yeah, it's getting close to midnight anyway, so I think I'll probably bring this to a close. I know it was a short stream, but frankly, I just needed to kind of get my rust off, because, like I said, it's the first time in 2 weeks I've actually been able to turn on a game. But I keep getting sidetracked too. I apologize, Big Red. But yeah, I got on to Game of Thrones in about season 4, after the whole Red Wedding debacle that everyone was talking about, and I was like, all right, there's a lot of hype here. Let me check it out and see if it's worth it. And yeah, I watched like all 4 seasons in like a period of like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then I just kept going and been watching them real time since then. But yeah, I think it's a pretty awesome show. At least the first 5 or 6 seasons. I think once they kind of got past where the books ended, the quality went down a little bit. I just went back and revisited a bunch of classic horror movies: Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Halloween Monsters from the Black Lagoon, Saw, Psycho. I've never been much of a horror guy, but my favorite horror genre is when it gets the Mystery Science Theater 3000 treatment. I love the old classic horror movies that they watch and spiff on the whole time. Those are always a lot of fun. I mostly love the horror stuff. Not much of any horror series out there that I find of interest, though. Well, I like horror movies depending on the type of horror, because I think like we've gotten a little lazy over the years, and our horror movies now turned into a little bit of the whole blood and gore slasher type of films, and that's not exactly my cup of tea. I much prefer like the psychological horrors, and those are more, they're fewer and further between than I'd like them to be. But in the end of the day, you know, everyone's got their own little thing that they love, so I won't blame them on that. Cut yourself some slack. You need to rest to enjoy yourself, and yeah, I will definitely check it out. All the seasons come out, but yeah, quality going down in series is the norm. Amen on that. And once they had to actually write witty banter for the characters, they really started to suffer. Because they basically, in the beginning of the series, they were just basically taking snip outs from J.R.R. Martin script and bringing them up for a TV audience. And once they had like a nice base, a nice script to base their shows on, I think that's when it was at the best. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I love the older horrors. Amen. Yeah, anyone can do blood and guts, but a proper psychological horror, that's talent. But yeah, so this was planned as a little bit of a one-off, and I think that is probably wise. I may go through here and just finish this up on my own, because I think once I have a little bit more sleep and can pay attention to the calendar a little bit better, I'll probably be able to beat this without much of a problem, because literally I was, what, $50,000 away from actually meeting that criteria, but I just lost track of the calendar. Otherwise, I'd have hold off and built that maintenance shed a little bit later. But regardless, I'm just glad to get the computer updated and everything going. And tomorrow, like I said, I'll be posting the 3rd episode of Shogun and playing 4th episode of Shogun live here on Twitch at about 10 o'clock-ish as per norm. But regardless, it was good to kind of get back into it. And tomorrow I'll make sure I'm properly caffeinated. But regardless, I do hope you all have a good one, and I'll catch you all later, all 3 of you. And I do hope you all have a lovely evening. But enjoy, thank you again, and goodbye.